I'm Ira Solomon. I'm the Dean of the A.B. Freeman School of Business at Tulane University.
And I'm Amy, and I'm a senior at Tulane University studying in the A.B. Freeman School of Business.
And we are happy to share with you a look at the new business school complex. So we're walking into the entryway, which is the Marshall Family Commons in the new Goldring-Waldenberg Business Complex. This is a three-story space, which is part of what makes this building student-centric and part of what it makes it an aid to creating greater community in the business school.
One thing I really like about this space right here is that typically there's so many tables and so many areas for students to get together and study, work on group projects, and also just hang out and have lunch.
So one of the things that people often ask about when they see this space is, first off, they notice the curved glass, three-story glass wall here, and they say, oh, you've created the green wave. And in a sense we have, and in a sense we haven't. That curved wall is actually an environmental feature. It is an effort on our part to help preserve the oak trees that line the front of the building. And we did two things in order to preserve the oak trees, i.e. extend their life. One is we have built the building to accommodate the drip line of those trees. The second thing we did is intended to relieve and even reduce the pressure on the root system. So we've lifted the ground up closest to the building. So if you are entering the building, you're about 3.5 feet higher than you used to be when you came into this area.
So cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool. I had no idea about that.
Yep, yep. Another thing that you'll notice as we walk around is you will see classrooms that are open and they are transparent. You can see what's happening in it. Now this is a Friday and we don't have a lot of classes ongoing right at this moment. But the idea here is the idea of our architect, Pelly Clark Pelly. And the notion is, hey, the notion is that we are putting learning on display. His idea was wonderful things happen in universities, but most universities hide what goes on behind drapes and doors. And we're not doing that. We're putting the learning on display so everybody can see it. I would suggest that we walk this way, past on the left our donor wall, so we can see all the wonderful people who contributed to this project. This is approximately a $35 million project, completely funded by the business school community. That would be alumni, organizations that hire our students, parents of students, and just general friends and benefactors of the business school. So if you take a look, in total we have about 150 individual gifts, some of which are naming gifts. And again, one of the great outcomes here is that the community of the Freeman School stepped forward to make this building a reality.
Can you tell me about how many years this expansion has been in the making, the conversations, what have you?
From groundbreaking to opening day for the students, which was January 16th of this year. Of course, today's March 2nd. This is the day of our dedication. But from groundbreaking to January 16th was approximately 19 months. But a project like this starts well before groundbreaking, with lots of design activities, lots of engagement with architects, and that sort of thing. So in total, we're looking at more like 4.5 years. So we're going into now a new space, did not exist before. This used to be a classroom, which unfortunately for us was built 3.5 feet below sea level. So it used to be that whenever there was even an 1/8 of an inch of rain in New Orleans, it flooded this room. We've lifted it up and created what we call the student gateway. So, and And I will tell you a little bit about this video wall, because this is not only special, but it is truly unique. But before I do that, you might want to pan around and show this space, and including, this is New Orleans, so it's mandatory that you have a coffee shop, right? So, of course, we have the PJs here. This is meant to be another home for students to convene. One of the ways in which university business education has changed from, let's say, a few decades ago when I was a student, back then the learning happened largely within the classroom. Today, the learning happens within the classroom, but much of it happens outside the classroom, with people gathering around tables like the ones you see here, and they work on projects together. And so we have accommodated that by creating spaces throughout this building for our community of students to gather.
I can agree with that. All of my classes have huge group projects, and I'm always having to spend time trying to figure out where we can meet and what are we going to do, where are we going to go. And I think that having all of this extra space has really helped us all be a lot more productive, as well as have that availability of just a place to move all the time.
This also now, the quad, this is where we had our construction trailers. The quad, the grass on the quad has not been fully replaced yet, but once it has been and we're able to open up here, this will be opening to two of the largest dorms on campus, Monroe and Sharp. So this PJ's will be the first coffee opportunity that they will run into. But also the idea, this is a gateway in the sense that it will allow people to access McAllister by walking through the building. This video wall is a reflection of our notion that it's wonderful to have world-class physical plant, but fundamentally this business school and all world-class business schools are about people. And what you see up here is our people. These are current students, these are current faculty, these are current staff, and these are former students, alumni. And we're able to put people up here in real time if we want. It's interactive, as you can see, and if it stays dormant for about 2 minutes, it becomes video, okay? And right now you can drill down about 2 or 3 levels, but eventually you'll be able to drill down many more levels, and we eventually be able to show video as part of the drill down. So the idea here would be if, let's say, a prospective student is coming through with their parents and they want to understand, well, what kind of a presence do Freeman alumni have in the energy industry? You'll be able to touch on some of these tiles and drill down and find out who has done what in the energy industry that are part of the Freeman School community. So I also should tell you that this is the first, these are 70-inch monitors. There are 9 of them. They're 4K. This is the first time they have ever been set up to operate as one entire monitor. They also are capable of being transformed into 3 sets of 3 or 9 individual ones. And eventually there will be sound here as well.
Go up the staircase? Sure. The Career Management Center.
I'm sorry?
The Career Management Center?
Career Management Center is on the 3rd floor. 2nd floor is the undergraduate office. There's a good example of learning on display. These are special classrooms here in the cylinder. Again, designed to encourage active and exploration learning. I suggest we walk back around this way and go up the main stairway.
So could you talk to us a little bit about what's going on right here?
We're setting up for the dedication, which will commence at 3 p.m. today. Many of our benefactors who supported the building will be here, and we will be having a formal program to recognize them and to recognized officially and formally the opening of this new complex. This is our grand staircase, and as you can see from the sign, it was made possible by a gift of Ken and Jeff Block. You'll notice as we walk the use of lots of natural materials. The building has a very strong focus on environmental friendliness. We are anticipating LEED Gold certification, which is the second highest level of energy efficiency. I also might point out as we're walking along that there's two kinds of art that we're bringing into the building. There's rotating collections. As an example, this is a museum quality display that's known as a vitrine. We ordered these custom from Germany. Newcomb Art Museum and the Ogden Museum are currently displaying from their permanent collection examples. There are 17 of them throughout the building. In addition, we have a permanent collection. We've only got about 40% of the permanent collection installed right now. The common theme of the permanent collection is art created by women affiliated with Tulane, either women who were or are faculty or women who were or are students. So this is our undergraduate office suite. You would find advisors, you would find the associate deans, assistant deans in here. So if students needed academic advising, this is where they would go.
Something that I really like about the whole new business school, especially with all of the glass doors and everything, is that it really focuses on transparency, and it's really letting the students have a transparent relationship with everybody involved. So all of the professors, all of the faculty, administration, everything like that.
Can you talk to us about why you decided to enroll at Tulane?
Well, it's kind of a long thing, but my whole family went here, so that was definitely a really big pull. I'm number like 12 or 13 in my family to come to Tulane. I'm like the third out of my immediate family, so like my mom and my brother, they also went to Tulane, where the business school. My dad also went to Tulane, but he wasn't in the business school. So that was a really big pull, but honestly, the city of New Orleans itself, it really just helps like pull everything I want into like one place. It's a great school and a great city, and you can't go wrong.
Good stuff.
So I'm pausing here on the landing of this staircase. Some people have called this the money shot, overlooking the Marshall family commons here. And one of the things I want to point out is we have become one of the fastest growing business schools in North America over the last several years. Our individual classes, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, now number about 500 plus students. We now have a space here in this commons where, set up auditorium style, we can accommodate 500 students, which would allow us to have a full class meeting. We could never do that before. So this is all brand new. You get a nice view of the curvature of the glass, which again is set up to accommodate the drip line of the trees, which allows us to build closer to the trees without posing a threat to their health. I also can highlight for you, you notice the sloping down of the ground toward McAllister. That's again because we have lifted the ground up closer to the building to remove pressure on the root system of those trees. Okay, so we're now going to walk toward the Freeman School's Career Management Center, which is a vibrant and important component of the business school. And we have greatly expanded it, which is absolutely essential in today's world. I'll point out shortly here the various components. So we will start right here, and I'll highlight for you that funding for this Career Management Center was provided generously by Daryl and Erwin Simon. This is where students will start. They will come in here if they want to see, if they have an appointment with a firm representative. They'll come in here. There'll be an opportunity to sign in on an iPad. Once they check themselves in, hi. That's this assignment.
Oh,
Once they check themselves in, this is the room where they will be staged to wait for an interview. And then we'll come in here where there's interview rooms. There are 9 interview rooms here, and several of them are equipped with Skype, so that you don't actually have to be, well, here's an example. I don't know if this one's Skype equipped. Doesn't look like this one is. But eventually there's going to be monitors on the wall for each of these. There are 9 of them, as I mentioned, and this is where students will be interviewed for internships and then full-time employment subsequently. There's also very important 2 rooms right here, all gender restrooms.
oh wow.
So there's one other part of this Career Management Center suite that I have to show you because it's most interesting. First off, here's another example of some pottery from Newcomb Art Museum. And I also will highlight for you these pod seats were donated by the graduate students here, Graduate Business Council. And these are self-contained units. You can plug in, sit down, relax, move a desk over, and so on.
I also know that this tower right here is glowing a
Yes,
bit.
we
Green
have
LED.
the ability to put about a dozen different light colors on this. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So let me show you this room. This is a lounge for the firm representatives who are here to recruit our students. And one of the reasons why I wanted you to come in here was not only to see how hard we are working to make them want to come here, but also look how close we are to the trees. You can't help but have the feeling that you're like in the park here. So we're absolutely thrilled by that. And on the 4th floor, where the row of faculty offices are, it's even more so the case. So sometimes people are interested in numbers. We have added 40,000 plus square feet, and we have renovated 40,000 plus square feet. So we've added in the neighborhood of 85,000 new square feet. And when you add that to the rest of what was here, we end up with 175,000 gross square feet. So what we're about to walk past here right now is the Albert LePage Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And I want to highlight for you, staff and leadership offices here. In fact, here comes the director. But also,
Hey, good to see you. Hey, how are you?
Good.
I'm Rob. Hi, world. Right? Let's show you around.
this side is interesting. We have 2 offices where we're going to have homes for entrepreneurs and executives in residence to spend time with our students and faculty. And then also, this is space, business incubator space. So this is a place where people who have ideas that maybe somebody in the community or somebody from one of the other schools at Tulane will develop some intellectual property, and they'll wonder, is there any value to this? Could I make a business out of this? But you know, maybe they're an expert in chemistry and they've never had a management class or a chemistry, or excuse me, or an accounting or finance class. So they'll come here, have an opportunity to interact with students and faculty and get what they need to advance their thinking along in terms of whether what they have is a viable business. So we're looking to help make the environmental ecosystem even more robust here in New Orleans than it has been.
One thing I should mention is that we're already partnering with groups like the Idea Village, Propeller. Some of the other groups actually came from Propeller before I started here. And so we're really plugged into the business community and the entrepreneurial community. Our goal is to really help the students to understand what it means to start your own business and to be ready for those other incubator and accelerator programs, but then also work with small businesses locally and bring them in, give them access to resources that we can provide here at Tulane. And so it really is going to be us hand in glove with the city of New Orleans.
Sounds good.
So we've got one more floor to go up to if you'd like. Are we okay, time-wise? All right, let's...
Thanks for visiting.
Thank you.
You guys okay going up the steps?
Mm-hmm.
So we're heading up to the 4th floor. Okay, on our left are some offices from the Tulane Energy Institute. And what I'm going to do is take you this way. Hi, Bill. So we're going to walk through the Reese family student breakout area. And as we walk through here, I want to highlight a couple of things for you. One is the wonderful natural light in this space. Hi. And also, you get to see education happening here. You see people sitting down there. You can see multiple levels going down. And if you walk this way, you actually get to see there's classrooms on both sides. This one is ongoing right now.
How many students are usually in each class with a teacher?
You know, it varies. We typically keep it under 45. But it varies. Some of our classes might have 15 or so. It just depends on what level and the nature of the subject matter. So, hi, Sean. This is one of our alums, works for Goldman Sachs in San Francisco. So this is the Reese family student breakout space. One of the important elements of this space is that it is right outside the new faculty office wing. So this encourages connection, interaction, without there being necessarily formal appointments, but just people going about their everyday business. They're going to run into each other, and that's one of the things we wanted to encourage. This is one of our original artworks. This is done by a woman here in New Orleans. That's glass. That is a glass cityscape that creates dimension by having been painted on the back and front. Okay. So we're coming into, this is our faculty office wing. There are 20 new faculty offices. And if you peek in, you can kind of see how close we are to the trees, which is delightful. We've got some photos here that are just recently acquired. PhD student Carol's here. We're live on the internet. Oh my goodness. And then this is the Dean Suite. See a little bit of artwork here. My staff hard at work. We have a lot of visitors around who left their luggage for their getaway a little later. More artwork. And while they're cleaning up here, this is my conference room. We're live on Facebook right now. And you're being beamed all over the planet. Okay. There's my executive assistant, Sharon.
Hi.
How are you all?
Good.
And critical dean's office staff. Keisha's running the show today.
Hi.
And Taryn, our senior executive secretary. And that takes us to my office. Would you like to go in here real quick?
Sure.
Okay, we'll take one step in and then we're just about ready to wrap. So this is my office here.
I feel like I have to ask you now
Yeah.
to talk to us about this rocking chair.
Oh, that rocking chair is special. You see that rocking
Yeah.
chair? You know what that's about?
No.
So when I was being moved out of my space, my original office location, because of the renovation, Newcomb Art Museum came by and collected all the artwork on the walls and said, okay, we got it all, but you're missing one piece. I said, what piece? And they said, well, you have a very valuable chair. I said, no, I don't. I have a chair in my conference room that I throw my coat on. I said, let's go look at it. So we went and looked at it. Let's let Amy go back there.
Is it the chair?
It's that brown chair.
Okay.
Take a look at what it says on the back, and you'll see why it's so valuable.
Oh. President John F. Kennedy's White House rocker, given to Freeman School of Business by Stanley Arnold. Yeah, this is a pretty valuable chair.
Yes, and actually that one was, he had a number of these. He had a bad back due to a World War II injury. He had a number of these made. Apparently they eased the pain in his back. But this one was certified to have been in the Oval Office at least for some time. So if you ever see photos on the internet of Kennedy in the Oval Office, you'll see a chair. It looks a lot like this one.
So do you like get a bunch of really good ideas or anything when you're sitting in that chair?
I
Or
don't
is it just
actually
kinda
sit in it, to tell you the truth. Well, I hope everybody's enjoyed the tour. I would encourage you, if you're in the New Orleans area, to come by and see our wonderful space, the new Goldring Waldenberg Business Complex. Thank you.